trying to understand the situation better. I'm reminded of yet another story I made up when I was being an edgelord kid, and I'm gonna probably tell that story in this video. Um, it is just a part of my life. Whenever I do anything, some other piece of shit loser makes it harder and then makes fun of me when I fail. And this happens again and again and again. And on my behalf, on my end, I realize even the events in Ackworth with Stu, I didn't own a gun. And this is the thing. I walked up behind Stu one time and followed him around my house as he was like peeking around the corners, and I was doing it with him. Peeking around the corners and having fun. And I just thought he was so funny, and I realized how stupid I was. But I was stupid because I was poisoned with heavy metal, so I'll give myself a pass on that. I should have choked him to death. I should have shot him in the head. And you look back at these things, you realize how far out of hand everything got, and how these people, persistence, relentlessness, and I guess that behavior works in some metrics, but there is a point where you need to look at how you're just failing, and maybe you need to stop. And I guarantee you tell that to these people, they're like, no, I gotta destroy, 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 because it's their only skill. But, I was asking the AI here because I'm gonna be clear, anytime I've ever done anything really great, I've actually had a friend or support system to actually help me through it. But even when I was a kid, I found a $20 bill, and you could argue the bill is a reference to greatness to some extent. And my sister stole it and split it between us, and it makes sense that she would take a deal with the court, take a deal with this church that involves stealing my greatness and then keeping it for herself, even though she didn't save those people, and she doesn't care. When I talk to her, she goes on about how other religions eat babies, other religions rape kids, other religions do it, so it's perfectly acceptable that this church does it, and I need to just mind my own fucking business and let it happen. This is the disgustingness of these people, and this is why and I think about it in a cosmic sense. Maybe it's best that Blondie be the one to steal my greatness, even though I'm completely opposed to that because it's just injustice. Um, and you might go, Bobby, and this is the thing, you're entitled, you're entitled, you're entitled. When somebody does something great, that is ornately theirs. When somebody else takes credit for that greatness, the loser that is taking credit for something they didn't do is the entitled one. Blondie feels like he could have done what I did, but I guarantee you if he was in my position, because he doesn't have an extra dense skeleton, because he doesn't think like I do, he would have got himself killed dealing with Stu. And that is a cold, hard fact. The stupidity and relentless craziness of the malignant narcissist trying to be somebody else and trying to replace other people simply because somebody told them. But imagine the logic. You did something wonderful and some dipshit just decided, I want that, and I have overwhelming force and an army of bastards that are willing to do the wrong thing because I anally raped them, so they anally rape their kids, and all of us are not metaphorically, but quite literally fucked up because we got fucked in the ass. The AI brought up a really good point because it's 300,000 people's lives. A woman I might love. I don't really know Mary. I believe I know her, you know. Money, fame, fortune, power, everything I would need to make a real impact in the world. And it explained task paralysis, that my nervous system might not be able to process this. And this is a point I made at the beginning of this with the heavy metal poisoning. Sometimes when you destroy somebody's nervous system, it doesn't matter how great they are, how capable, how smart. They don't have a nervous system that can handle the pain and stress because you stole that. And I guarantee you, if you poisoned fucking Blondie or any malignant narcissist in this church with continuous heavy metals, left it in their system for 10 years, and then took it out, you would quickly find that they also develop task paralysis. When the literal off switch of the human brain turns off when it has to perform a terrifying task because the bandwidth of the nervous system is not there. And once again, is this a physical fucking test? Is this a physical test or is this a biological test? Because you don't get to alter somebody's biology and then go, oh, he doesn't have this because we altered his biology. Instead, you recognize you fucked that person up and you compensate them because you're a good person, but you're not good people. And you'll never be. And I believe it is a good thing for you people that Blondie steal my glory. I believe it is a good thing for you people that Blondie steal my greatness. Because the only goddamn thing I want to do is kill you. Because you don't understand injustice. You don't understand right and wrong. You don't know how to do the right thing. And I even did all of this shit. When I was in middle school, I made up a story about the good guy. And he was a dude that was born, he loved chemistry, he loved science, and he wanted to use these tools to fix the world. And what happened was the authoritarian dictator that was in control of everything, that was driving the world off a cliff because he just followed the rules, followed the rules, followed the rules, was getting people killed. The world was basically facing a kind of climate disaster. It wasn't a climate disaster. It was this shit called the smog that came from the soil as they harvest minerals from it. And the smog could be prevented. There were things that you could have done scientifically to fix them. So this guy that was working on trying to help everybody, save everyone, the dictator turns everybody against him through lies, manipulations, and they end up doing some of the worst things you can do to a human being, to a man that just wants to help people. And they end up imprisoning him, and the story is called Prison Fall. Prison Fall is a literal place in the story. It's a prison that's beside a waterfall. And in this prison, they just torture you. There's no logic, there's no reason, there isn't anything they won't do. And they just hurt people because of this dictator. And as the dictator comes down, he can't handle that he's wrong. Okay? So when he talks to the good guy, the dictator starts getting pissed because he's stupid and he can't deal with the reality that he's a dumbass. So as he drives the world off a cliff, the decision becomes to simply cut and kill the working class, because the rich people and the army are the only two things this guy wants to save, because he's the king, and things just keep getting worse and worse. And as things get worse and the science guy is right, everybody hates him more for being right. It is almost as if they seemingly believe that because the science guy said it was going to happen and it happened, they have to hurt him more. And they will not let him lead. They will not let him have control. And they are fucking terrified of him. They are terrified of the guy that was trying to save everybody. Even as the working class dies, they curse the good guy's name. The king has this all the way up until the guards come, and they're all smug, and they're beating the good guy. He's crippled at this point. He's horribly deformed, and he has a broken, and his arm is, they ripped off one of his arms. And they just keep hurting him. And as the world goes to shit, they keep hurting him. Because he doesn't have power, and they know they're mad about something, but they don't know what they're mad about. They're mad that they're monkeys keeping a system that is trying to kill them. It is literally life draining. It is killing everybody, including the rich. Okay. So it happens. The king literally quietly meets with the ultra wealthy, and they make the decision that because the smog has closed in on the living cities of the world, that the army has to go. It's too big. And he sends the army to their deaths. And this results in the captain coming down to talk to the good guy. Not with violence, not with aggression, not with any of those. and basically says, please help us. The situation has gotten bad. And the guy starts laughing at him. He just laughs at him and laughs at him and laughs at him because all these people did was hurt him. And then the guard's like, I'm going to let you off of there, but you're not allowed to hurt me. And the guy laughs and laughs, and the guard leaves. He decides to give up. So he comes back, and he talks to some other dudes, and they have a big debate about letting him out of the prison. And then it happens. One of the guys gets into a fight with the captain, who makes the decision not to let the good guy out because they turned him into a monster, and the only thing he wants to do is kill them. That is his only fucking goal. The second guy in command murders the captain, enters the dungeon, goes down to the good guy, tells him, I'm gonna let you go. And the good guy stares at him, and he lets him go, and the good guy just continues standing there. Motionless, cold, empty, staring. Demented hatred twisted onto his face and his twisted body. Racked with pain and rage and hatred, suddenly free from the restraining shackles, and he chooses to stand there. And the guy goes, please help us. And the dude stares at him. And then he goes, you're going to let me do whatever I want to you. And you're going to thank me. And the guy was like, okay. So, they stage a coup, go in, murder the king, murder the ultra wealthy in the kingdom, and go about building a new kingdom. This starts with them building a castle. As they're building this castle with really strong walls, it's very beautiful and pretty. The guards start getting confused because there are these giant cauldrons on the four corners of it that are absolutely massive, capable of holding enough matter to fill the entire interior of the castle. And weirdly, they're not the kind of cauldrons. They're not on hinges that enable them to dump fiery, burning, painful liquid on the outside of the walls, but rather the inside of the walls. And then the good guy tells them, this is the area I'm going to give my speech to you. And, well, they do it. The cauldrons are filled with boiling oil and molten metal. And the guy goes to give his speech, and he simply says, I lack charisma. I lack all the skills of the king. I'm not even part of the genetic line. But in my kingdom, there is no room for evil people. There are no room for evil, stupid people. And then he throws the switch, and the cauldrons dump on all the knights, and they all burn to death. And then this guy proceeds to go into the throne room and sit down in the king's throne. And a sloppy, messy order, and then he explains he has roughly 22 years remaining in his life to solve every goddamn problem the stupid, powerful people created. And he then turns to his massive sex harem because he's managed to murder every man in the kingdom by dropping boiling oil on them. And begins having sex and then instructing people on what to do and how to fix the fucking problem. And he does this under the threat of fucking death. He carries a weapon with him that he just stabs motherfuckers to death with. You're gonna do what I say or you're gonna be dead. This is the only way things can go. And in the story, it gets horrific because some of the wives that he has remember their former husbands. They remember kindness. They remember grace. And there's an entire thing they go on about how this man's cruelty. This man is a battery, and they programmed him with cruelty. It was the only thing they gave him, so now it is the only thing he knew how to dish out as king. And there's even a point in the story about 10 years later where everybody in the kingdom basically decides they're going to kill him. They stage a coup, they go to kill him, and then he points out that he still has information on solving other problems, and he's simply not going to give it to them. And without him, there is no solving the problem. There is no fixing it. Which results in everybody shutting the fuck up and just doing what this guy wants. And then, 40 years after his death, the kingdom turns into a massive, prosperous kingdom, and his life is reduced to a single book about the cruel, unnatural, tyrannical, mean leader or ruler that hurt everybody. And there's an entire memoir. His autobiography covers the torture, the pain, the how he started life wanting to help people, and the only thing everybody around him wanted to do was hurt him, no matter what. Thank you. That is the how that story goes. This thing talks about the reason I fail. The reason you feel like a failure isn't because you're incompetent. It's because you've been cast in a role that was designed for you to lose. If you are constantly the fallback to the plan for everyone else's problems, of course you're going to be the one standing there when everything breaks. Yes, the fallback plan for everybody else's problems. Of course I'll be the one standing here when everything breaks. It'll all be my fault because everybody put it in my hands to begin with. This is a problem in my life where people go, okay, Bobby, I'm going to give you a completely unfair task and you have to complete it. Blondie has close to 40 wives. If I gave him a task to complete for each wife, I guarantee you he couldn't complete them. Because they would be unnaturally cruel. The same way these people have been unnaturally cruel to me. You see, the world has no business fucking testing me in everything I do. And I'm going to repeat that. The world, you people, have no business testing me in everything I do. This is the first problem. And I would like to bring this up. Imagine if it was me in charge. And I was like, oh, you want that woman? Well, guess what? You have to eat a boat propeller while it's still spinning with your face. How would you handle that? I already know. We would have wonderful wood chips to fill the garden. Yeah. I get tired of it. Fucking... The curse of my life is explaining to people how important doing the right thing is. And every fucking time, the resistance to doing the right thing is just such a monumental, stupid response. And I remembered this guy explaining the whole Republicans back when there used to be these Green Party people that would go around America cleaning shit up. And then Republicans would go out and pollute again to teach them a lesson because those people doing the right thing made them feel like shit. If somebody's doing the right thing and you feel like shit, you should probably try shooting yourself in the head. You don't have to feel that feeling anymore. Doctors recommend it. Yeah, doctors recommend it.